This is the OnePlus Nord 5 and let me give you my unbiased opinion of if you should get this smartphone or not. Compared to the Nord 4 that was launched last year, yes, there are few upgrades, but there are a lot of downgrades as well. Because at this price point you get the iQOO Neo 10, the Poco F7, etc. So does this actually stand out in the crowd? First thing I noticed when I took this smartphone is this is heavy. I mean, the size is huge and it's heavy, so it's not comfortable to hold in a single hand. It comes around 211 grams, so take a note of it. But last year's main highlight was the metal frame and the metal back. But when it came to Nord 5, the metal back is gone, the metal frame is gone. Instead, you get a plastic frame with a glass back. But actually, it looks better in person, feels like a marble matte finish. But keep this in mind, if you're using it without a phone case, then this is really slippery. It might slip out of your hand. But luckily, you get good quality case inside the box of the smartphone, and it is a silicone color matching case, so please put that on. In the front you get the Corning Gorilla Glass 7i, same as the Poco F7 or even some 80,000 rupees so-called flagship smartphones, and you get a pre-applied screen protector on top of that. Good thing. It's not IP68 rated, it's just IP65 rated, but the screen size is really huge. It's around 6.83 inches. The screen is bright, punchy and crisp. It's a 1.5K 144Hz AMOLED display. It's an LTPS display switching between 60Hz, 90Hz, 120Hz and 144Hz. But one thing I noticed is the bezels are really small, really thin and equal sized, giving you a kind of a premium flagship level feel. Compared to last year's 120Hz, this year's 144Hz is a significant upgrade, and this is an HDR10 Plus certified Dolby Vision supported display. The HDR brightness is 1800 nits. But what matters the most is when you take your phone outdoors, what would be the highest brightness, and that comes to around 1400 nits, and I would say anything which goes above 1000 is really good for outdoor usage, and this one even boosts colors in direct sunlight, giving a better overall visual experience. Next thing which I liked in the smartphone is the speakers. Just listen to the quality. The sound is loud, crisp and little bit of bassy. Along with the speakers, the next highlight is the haptic feedbacks that you get in this. You get an X-axis linear motor, and like how you see in ColorOS smartphones, the O haptics, where the tuning is integrated inside many parts of the software, giving you a subtle vibrations when you do slide actions like scrolling through the app drawer or going back or going home, which gives you a good vibration feedback. From last year's Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3, this time they have come to Snapdragon 8s Gen 3, but at this price point you get 8s Gen 4, which means you can call it technically an upgrade or even a slight downgrade. But yeah, this gives around 1.4 million of AnTuTu score, which is more than enough for a good performance. Paired with 8GB or 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM, you got me till there. But when it comes to storage, you get a 256 or 512GB of UFS 3.1 storage, which compared to last year's UFS 4 is a significant downgrade. But I did run the storage test. It gives around 1.3 lakhs, which is sufficient, which means you would not notice this in a day-to-day performance. So it's a 4nm chipset. Along with this, you get the latest Oxygen OS 15, which is heavily optimized. Whether it be opening or closing apps, the animations, vibrations, the visual appeal, everything is tuned such that the phone feels very snappy, fluid, yet smooth. I checked if the device heats. It went till 43 degrees. I would not call that heating. Like anything that goes above 46 degrees is what is technically considered to be a heating issue. This is a regular heating which you would not notice if you have the case on. But the main highlight is the 6800 mAh battery. This can last really long. You can easily sustain 1 to 1.5 days and quickly top it up by using the 80-watt charger, or it charges at 18 watts in PD, or if you have a Samsung PPS charger, it charges till 33 watts. The device has NFC or tap and pay feature, and it even has an IR blaster on top. But initial reviews said that the cameras were not that great compared to even the iQOO Neo 10. But a week later, I got an update in the smartphone which specifically targets the improvements in camera, and you should see the photos taken after the update. So in my use, I did not feel any issues with the camera. The camera outputs were dynamic, the colors were rich, punchy, contrasty, and the primary sensor is not a bad sensor. It's a Sony LYT700 CMOS sensor, which technically produces great HDR photos and colorful outputs. We can see the same thing here, but this smartphone definitely misses a 2x or 3x telephoto lens, but this can take cropped up 2x photos, which also looks very decent. Even the dynamic range ranges and the edge detection portraits are also great. But what I didn't like is the 8 megapixel ultra wide autofocus camera. Well, compared to primary camera, this takes photos, but it's not as great as the primary camera. And this can also act as a macro camera, but here I found a little bit of struggle in focus, wherein the camera keeps switching between primary and macro because it has a confusion deciding what is next to the camera. So this can sometimes irritate you while capturing macro photos. In back camera, you can shoot 4K 60 fps stable videos. Even 2x cropped videos are also fine. And the front camera is also upgraded from last year's 16 megapixel to this year's 50 megapixel, which means you get amazing photos. It has autofocus and also decent portrait blur. And the front camera even supports 4K 60 frames per second videos. But what I felt is, compared to the front camera, back camera, while coming to human subjects, increase the white balance a little bit higher, which makes you feel that the skin tones are a little off. And you can also shoot portrait or bokeh videos in this with the back camera as well as the front camera, but keep in mind that this is just a feature that's there and it's not 100% reliable. The edge detections are sometimes way off. With the ultra wide camera, you can shoot only 1080p 30 fps videos, which again compared to the primary camera is not great. But the worry-free lifetime display guarantee is what makes people come back to OnePlus, because even if you get a green line on this device, it can be easily replaced. Even the software optimization is nice. If you see the parallel animations and the smoothness along the OS, it's something that has to be specifically talked about. But I would not say it's a clean UI, because when I initially started up, I got a lot of notifications from the app market suggesting me to install some hot apps, giving kind of ColorOS vibes. So the app market is what gives you the notifications, so you can tap and hold it and then remove it, disable it. So please keep in mind to do that, because by default I can see few apps such as Candy Crush, PhonePe, Netflix, etc. that has been pre-installed in this. I actually did disable this app market during the initial setup, but not sure, it just came back, so I had to do it again. After the first update, it got the AI mind space thing, wherein you just swipe with 3 fingers and whatever is in the screen, it uses AI to analyze it, add to the calendar, etc. And even you get the shortcut key or the plus key on the side, which can be customized for a lot of things, or even use it as an AI mind space. They promise of 4 years of OS updates with 6 years of security updates, and it supports almost all the 5G bands. So if you compare it with the competition like the Poco F7 or iQOO Neo 10, the Poco, the cameras are not as great as this. And even some people complain about the heating issues. And the iQOO Neo 10R is also a performance oriented smartphone where people have issues with camera fogging and stuffs like that. And yes, the font to choice is also outdated. So compared to that, for the price, you get a great display, decent build, a glass back, stereo speakers, decently good cameras, and overall a fluid UI experience with a worry-free green line stuffs and all. I would say for the price, if you compare it in an overall perspective, yeah, this does sound to be a good deal for a 30k price range. So that's my views on this smartphone. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.